everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as the Religious Hippie. You can basically follow me on any social media platform, or you can go straight to my website at thereligioushippie.com. So glad you guys are here today. I know I went live yesterday, but I was like, you know what? We got the new studio, we got the temporary studio going. I might as well keep this ball rolling. So why not go live today? It's a very rainy day here in Chicago, so I decided to put, ow. I decided to put a little rainy background on the TV in the background. I just thought that that was really cute and we can pick whatever we want. So I was like, let's have a cute little cottage thing, shall we? Um, so yeah, welcome here. So glad you guys could make it. Today, obviously, by the title, we're talking about confirmation saints, how to pick a saint, etc. But before we get started on that, really quick, so I hardly ever use ChatGPT except for when I'm like trying to be goofy or I feel like I have like a funny question or something. But there was one question that I had. So you know how like most influencers or whatever, they call their followers something. It's like Swifties for Taylor Swift or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh, what would that be for me? Like, what would that be? So I asked ChatGPT to come up with names for you guys as my followers to figure out what I would call you. They're not good. They are not good. I don't think we're going to have any problems with AI taking people's jobs because these are awful. We're going to start off with number one, hippie disciples. Just conveys a completely wrong idea there. Rosary rebels. Okay, kind of cool, but a little cliche. Everybody kind of knows praying the rosary kind of makes you a rebel in a lot of ways. Hippie flock. Just being so original here, ChatGPT. So original. Faithful nomads. So cool. There were like so many in here, like Rose Army, countercultural Catholics, hippie saints in the making. The one that I probably liked the most was called the Jude Crew, because as you guys know, Saint Jude is the patron saint of this ministry. But I just the fact that this is the best ChatGPT could come up with to figure out what to call you guys, I think is just really, really funny. So I personally have not found one yet. If you guys come up with any, please send them my way because I'd love to be like, hey, people, in my intros. But so far, I've been quite disappointed by ChatGPT. So, between rosary roadies and virtue vagabonds and beatitude bohemians. Somebody, you know what? We have no problems with ChatGPT taking over. Like it's not going to get far. It's not going to get far at all. Welcome here. So glad. Hope you guys enjoyed that filler because I did. If you're here, I probably assume you guys are here to learn about confirmation saints, maybe saints in general a little bit. And I am here to help guide you guys a little bit and give you guys some information as best as I can, of course. I know that I won't be able to cover every single topic. I've done a couple Saint videos previously though, so if you guys want, you guys can just kind of search it on my channel. I've done some other videos about this, but I just love the Saints and I love doing videos about this because people have contacted me saying that they weren't allowed to pick a patron saint or it wasn't like a thing at their church. So for them, it was like, oh, I didn't even know I could have a patron saint. Some of us already have named saints if you're like me. My name saints are Saint Ambrose, obviously Amber Rose. My middle name is Michelle, so Michael. And then Saint Agnes, Saint Rose of Lima, and Saint Francis of Assisi are my top three saints. So, but Saint Francis is like the top though. So that's fun. Anyway, but before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know about Immaculate Blessed really quick, just because I do know that Valentine's Day is coming up. So men, if you're looking for a gift to get your lady, or if you're just looking for a gift for someone this Valentine's Day, Immaculate Blessed is the place to be. You guys can get free US shipping plus 15% off your order when you type in Amber. They have just the most beautiful quality Catholic jewelry. I wear this one every single day. I never take this off. It's waterproof, heirloom quality. You guys will not be disappointed in the quality. It's beautiful. I think another necklace you guys see me wear like all the time is the four-way cross, which is also from Immaculate Blessed. So you guys can go to immaculateblessed.com and you guys can use my promo Amber. All right. So with all that being said, whether you're confirmed or you're just looking for a new heaven bestie, or you are looking for another saint to devote some time and energy to, I'm hoping that this video really does help, because I think, in a world where we are constantly being influenced by secular media and things like that, the saints can be the counterculture for us and really influence us in the way of God. So that's really, really important to me. That's why I want to talk about this. But the main important thing as to why the saints are important is because they're in heaven praying for us. They're interceding for us. They're our heavenly family. They're cheering with us when we win, and they're crying with us when we fall. And it just really helps us to know that we are not alone. The saints have been where we are. They walked in the same footsteps, sometimes even worse than us, and we can look to them for guidance. We can ask them for prayers. All of that is very, very helpful when we're trying to make our way towards heaven, because walking this path alone is not easy, and that's why God gave us the saints, so that we would be able to have guidance and have a heavenly family to help us get there. So one person put it to me that a saint, like a patron saint for them, was like a spiritual mascot, and I was like, that's a really weird way of saying that. But in general, like I said, a saint is anyone who has made it to heaven, whether they're canonized or not. A saint is just anyone who's been to heaven. No, we don't turn into angels when we die and we go to heaven if we're in a state of grace. We don't turn into angels. Angels are a completely different thing. We turn into saints, which is even better in a lot of ways. So yeah, we really want saints that can inspire us in our relationship with God, let us grow in sainthood, and intercede for us personally. And so the best way I like to describe that is, let's say you're an athlete or something like that, and you want to be the best of the best in your sport. So you go through the programs, you go through the trainings, you go through the strategies, the disciplines, etc. And the same thing goes for spiritual life, right? We have to prepare. We have to work out spiritually. We have to use our spiritual weapons. And the saints have already run this race and won the crown. That's 2 Timothy 4:7-8. So leaning on them helps us to do the exact same thing. That's why it's so important to pick a patron saint, or to have a saint that you're at least close to. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is how you can choose a patron saint. And don't worry, guys, we're going to have a whole Q&A after this. So any questions you guys have currently, probably not going to be able to read them at the moment as I'm going through this. Just hold on those until the end and I will try to get to them. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to choose a patron saint. Now, I had to do little bullet points because there were so many ways that I kind of came up with that you could choose a patron saint. But I had to narrow it down just for the sake of simplicity, because I'm like, you guys aren't going to go and do like 50 things to find a patron saint. Well, maybe some of you would. Maybe some of you guys would do 50 things to find a patron saint. But a majority of you don't have that type of time. So I wanted to make this as streamlined and easy as possible for you guys. So the first and the easiest way to find a patron saint is to go based off of your name saint. Who are you named after, if anyone? Now, it's very hard to find a name that does not belong to a saint. I think one of the names, and I talked about this, like one of our baby names that we would love to have for a girl one day is Sabine. And I think somebody said there was a Saint Sabine, or like it's spelt differently. But as far as I know, there's no Saint Sabine in the Catholic Church, but we would still have a Catholic middle name, of course. But I would say look at your first or middle name. Sometimes people have 2 first names, and look into the saints that correspond with those names that you have. I definitely think that this could be an instant, saint interaction, connection type of thing. And I have had that, especially with Saint Ambrose. Ambrose is a huge part of my life. I love him. I don't talk about him all that often, but he's phenomenal and he has helped me in so many ways. And so I definitely think that sometimes, even if you don't necessarily think your name corresponds with a saint, there's always one out there. Or if your parents didn't like name you after a saint, they're like, oh, well, we didn't really name you after a saint, but your name is like Anne or something. It's like, well, you could still be, friends with Saint Anne. So it's just kind of fun to see how that works. The next thing you can do, another thing with the name saint is also looking up your birthday and seeing what saint's feast day correlates with your birthday. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. I want to know what saint's feast day correlates with my birthday. On April 8th. Okay, let's see what saints correlate with my feast day. Or feast. You know what I mean. Oh, a lot of people. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think the most common one is Saint Julie Billiart. I think that's the most. Yeah. Wow. These are some names. um, Redemptus. I didn't even know that was a name, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, so you guys can look up your birthday and what saint corresponds with that day. And of course, that changes sometimes depending on the feast day. Old, new calendar, make sure you check both, see if there's any saints that specifically stand out to you. And then, of course, the next thing I suggest is considering your specific interests or the things that you specifically struggle with. Let's say that you have a specific interest in animals. Well, then St. Francis of Assisi, he might be a perfect saint for you. You can do like, I don't know, there's tons of stuff. If you struggle with like anxiety or something, St. Dymphna might be your best friend. If you want to be a writer, St. Francis de Sales could be a good person for you. If you want to be an artist, I think it's St. Catherine of Ooh, I'm going to mispronounce that. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think it's Bologna. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. If you want to be a musician, St. Cecilia. So I definitely think if there's a hobby you're looking for, anything like that, look into your hobbies. What are you struggling with? What are some saints that correspond with those things? And then the next thing I would do is read their stories. So if you are able to kind of narrow it down to at least three saints, maybe five, 3 to 5 saints, I would say. You want to start reading about their story, diving deeper into it, not just the kiddie versions of the stories. And I don't want it to be like, I'm not bashing the kiddie versions of the stories, but actually dive deep into their lives. Learn about what they lived through, how their martyrdom took place, if they were martyred, and just really try to connect with them on more of a personal level. I would also highly suggest praying a novena to them once you've narrowed it down to 3 or 5 saints and asking for their intercession. And then at the end of those novenas, seeing if there was a saint that specifically stood out to you. I think that could be very helpful. And you can find novenas on like praynovenas.com. You just type them into Google and say novena to blank saint, right? Whatever saint you want. The next thing I would say is, pray about it, but also be open to potentially having a lesser known saint or a saint that you are not familiar with yet. Because there are a lot of lesser known saints out there. I think Saint Drago has kind of gained a little bit more traction over the couple years. But I remember when nobody really knew who he was outside of a few traditional Catholics. And now most people do. He's a patron saint of ugly people and coffee. So that's pretty memorable. And I love Saint Drago. He's phenomenal. He's also one of my saints that I love. But you can, of course, ask our Lord and see if there's a saint he specifically has picked out for you. Or, of course, you can actually ask the saints themselves. And Saint Therese of Lisieux has been known to leave roses or to leave rose petals or the smell of roses when she wants to be your friend. She also tends to pop up like everywhere if she wants to be your friend. Like one minute you never see her, the next minute you see a statue of her all the time. Like over here, she comes across your social media feed. She's just everywhere. And so I think, we also have to let the saints choose us. And that's my 5th tip, is to let them choose you, because a lot of people don't understand what that means. They kind of are confused. They're like, what do you mean a patron saint chooses me? Well, the patron saints, the saints are in heaven and they can see us through God, if God wills it. And they can intercede for us in many ways. And so a lot of the times, patron saints actually choose you. They want to help you. They want to be your friend. And it could be like I said, a particular saint that keeps popping up in your social media, keeps popping up in your newsfeed. And I don't mean like when it's a feast day or something and all of a sudden like everybody's posting about this saint. I'm talking about when it's just so random. There's a rose left for you in your seat. There is a bushel of roses outside. There is I guess they come up in different conversations. You see them in books, just random encounters. So really pay attention to these situations. And if you feel like a saint is quote unquote stalking you, as some people put it, actually do a novena to them. Ask them for their intercession. See if that's what it is and if it's a right fit for you. I think that's really helpful. And then, of course, when you do find your patron saint, I highly suggest that you don't just stop there. Like, let's say you're going through confirmation, you do all this work, you find your confirmation saint, and now it's just like, cool, now we're buddies. Relationships take a little bit of work, right? We still have to work on the relationships we have, whether they are spiritual or whether they are physical in person. I mean, technically they are physical as well, but you know what I mean. We still need to put in the effort. We need to ask for their intercession, celebrate their feast day like it's a birthday, learn more about them, read books about them, talk to them. I mean, I talk to my patron saints all the time, and it's very helpful. It's very comforting to know that these people have been where I am and that they made it through. And people are like, "Oh yeah, but like my saint had to get martyred first before they made it through." It's like we're all called to martyrdom in one way or another, whether that is denying our flesh, whether that's denying ourselves, or, potentially giving our lives up. In either way, we are practicing self denial and self giving. And so maybe you don't need to be martyred to prove that or to get through it, but I mean, we live in very dark times at times, and I'm not a black pillar here at all. I don't believe in black pilling. Actually, the whole like black pill, red pill, man, that's so annoying. I don't even, why is that even a thing? People just have opinions, all right? I am, what is the term? White pilled? Is that what it is? Where it's like, I'm joyful, I'm happy. I know that no matter what, the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. Um, but yeah, once you pick a patron saint, don't just leave it there. Talk to them, get to know them more, have a deeper relationship with them. And I definitely think that some people kind of get tired of the same patron saint. They learn as much as they can, but then that's not a real relationship. If you met a friend and then you learned basically everything about them that you thought you could learn about them, and you were like, okay, I'm bored with our friendship now. That's awful. Like that's so awful. I don't, the saints are in heaven and they love us and they want us to be friends with them. And, it really does take time to cultivate a friendship, just like it takes time to cultivate a relationship with God. So, just make sure that you don't give up on your patron saint or get bored of them or whatever. That doesn't mean you can't explore other saints or, other saint stories, but it just means that you don't get bored of the relationship. You know what I mean? Because they're there for a reason and they're helping you for a reason. So basically, heaven is our goal. The saints will help us get there. Those were some tips to kind of help find your patron saint. And if all else fails, let's just say, but for some reason, you still cannot find a patron saint. You do all the steps. You pray about it. You go through your name saint, your birthday saint. You're Googling different types of people that you're interested in. You have hobbies and you look into those types of things. You still cannot find a patron saint. I have linked below a saint generator where it will randomly choose a saint for you that you can pick then. And I'm not saying like, oh, keep clicking it until you find one you want. Click it once, that's your saint. And people are like, oh, but how does that work? Da, da, da. I don't know. God's divine providence, I guess. I mean, how does anything work? So if you guys are interested in a patron saint, but you just don't know who to pick, I did link that below. It's on the, if you guys are watching on somewhere else besides YouTube, you might not have that link, but you guys can find it on YouTube. So hopefully you guys can find it. So, okay. Now that we have that out of the way, feel free to ask some questions. Please be respectful as always. I will try to get to as many as I can. But yeah, so there is that. Oh, okay, I also have Instagram pulled up here, so I'm going to try and go between both per usual. So patience, please, as they kind of roll in. Okay, we'll start on YouTube. just joined, so sorry if you haven't if you've answered this, but don't saints choose us too sometimes? Saint Therese of Lisieux keeps making her intercession known to me. Yes, I did talk about that. How saints sometimes just pop up. How they continuously pop up in conversation in books, and Saint Therese of Lisieux is known to leave roses, or you'll smell roses, or have rose petals or something as a sign of her wanting to be friends with you. There are a lot of different ways that saints make their friendship known to you that they want to be friends. People call it saint stalking sometimes, which I think was really, really cool. So yeah, they do sometimes choose us, but that is not every single time. We do have to put in some effort. We can't just sit back. Ooh, sorry guys. Can't just sit back and expect them to do everything for us or to, do basically choose us. Like they will choose us if they really want us, but we also need to put in the work with the relationship. So, ooh, so fun. Okay, next question. What are your thoughts on Old Testament patron saints, considering I would love to choose King David? I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I know a girl who chose Saint Ruth, and then another one who chose Naomi. And I don't have an issue. I think they're pretty cool. I know you kind of have to run it by your priest or whatever first. That doesn't mean that you can't still have them as a patron saint or as a main saint. It probably, if your priest is like, nah, you have to pick like a New Testament saint or whatever, then, they can still be a part of your life. Like you can still ask them for intercession and things like that. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. I tried the saint generator once and I got Mary Magdalene, and she's also a saint of a really specific thing I was struggling with at the time. That there you go. You know what? The saint it has a way. It has a way. Are Adam and Eve's saints? So there is no official church teaching, I don't believe. I guess I haven't looked into it in a hot minute, but I do believe they are. I think they paid for their trespasses. I don't believe that, I believe they might have had to spend some time in purgatory, but I, okay. How about now? Is that better? I don't know why it did that. It's so dumb. What I meant to say is that it's just so beautiful to see the younger generation come into the faith on their own, but also the converts that are coming in and really embracing the faith. Despite the trying times we're in, it just really does take special people to do that because it's not easy to be in the Catholic Church. It's not easy to be Catholic. And it's just really cool when I'm able to experience and see these people come into the faith. So, very, very cool to experience. Um, So this is so interesting. I converted in 2007, and my sister actually picked my patron saint, whom is Saint Philomena. I don't know much about her, but now I'm learning how important friendship is. Yes, yes. Definitely learn more about Saint Philomena. She is phenomenal. The fact that they tried to her so many different ways and she still survived. They tried to tie an anchor around her neck and throw her into the ocean, and an angel came and saved her. There was this whole thing. Um, and so, yeah, there's so much beauty in Saint Philomena's story. And actually, my friend Father Peregrine, who's out at Saint Michael's Abbey, he wrote a book called I Am Philomena. And technically, it's a kid's book. It's a picture book, but it is so beautifully drawn. He drew all of the images with pastels. It's gorgeous. I don't mean the colors pastels. I mean the art instrument pastels. um, so I definitely feel like, you know, what was I talking about? Oh, that is a great book to read to learn more about St. Philomena's story. And I know technically, yes, of course, we're all adults here, but I love a good picture book still. When I take the books over to the girls when I babysit or whatever, it's like they love them too. So, yeah. All I'm saying is that St. Philomena's awesome. I think she's actually my mom's patron saint. So, cool. Um, Okay. I chose St. Paul when I was confirmed, but I have not felt particularly close to him. Recently, I've felt a particular drawing towards St. Michael, and I'm unsure of what to do. Thoughts? Yes. So I actually had a similar situation, I guess you could say. When I picked my confirmation saint, I was very small. I was like, well, I wasn't small. I was young. I was like 11. And I wanted something cool. I didn't really care about the saint's story so much as the name. I know, typical me. But as a kid, I was like, I don't really care about their story. I just want somebody who has like a really, really cool name. And so I chose oh my gosh, who was it? Saint Demetria. I really wanted Saint Demetria. I thought that was like the coolest saint ever. Just because of her name. No other reason. I was like, yeah, I don't know what she did in her life, but that's cool. And so I ended up I think my mom ended up choosing Saint Rose of Lima for me because Saint Saint Demetria was just a little bit too out there. I don't think the priest approved of that. So she ended up choosing Saint Rose of Lima for me. And I like Saint Rose of Lima. I do. I really do. I think she's beautiful and pure and just so amazing. But I unfortunately have no connection to her whatsoever, and I have tried for almost 5 years now to have some sort of connection to her, to try and have some sort of relationship with her, and it's just not coming. It's just not easy for me to do that for some reason. I don't know why. And so I think these types of dry seasons do happen. I do think they happen. I have always felt more of a pull towards Saint Francis of Assisi than I have any other saint. And, you know, sometimes when we're young, we pick someone just because, you know, we like their name or because we like a certain aspect of the story. That's a little bit just because we're immature and being young and all of that stuff. Um, but I definitely think that it's not wrong to feel that way. I just think that there's sometimes we feel more connections to different saints. But that doesn't mean that he has to stop being your patron saint. You might find at a time in your life where he comes in handy, where you still do want to cultivate that relationship and still include him in any intercessory prayer if you know you want, not if you want, but like he should still be included in your daily prayers. It's not that you necessarily have to force a relationship, you know, that's true too. But we should still do our best to try and put in the work and the relationship while also cultivating relationships with other saints as well. I mean, Saint Francis, Saint Rose of Lima, they're not the only saints who I'm friends with. I am also friends with Saint Therese of Lisieux, Saint Drago, Saint Bovo, Saint, you know, a bunch of different saints. So I definitely think that it's not wrong. Sometimes, you know, relationships just have these ebbs and flows, and that's natural. So I would say just still continue keeping him in your intercessory prayer, but also explore the relationship with Saint Michael, I think is who you said. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. Okay, going back over here. I really want to choose Our Lady as my confirmation saint this Easter. Very cool. Very cool. Love that. Any specific apparition? I know it's probably going to get lost in the comments, but I mean, people in the comments can see. I was very connected to St. Francis of Xavier as a child. My grandfather told me a lot about him, and I saw a movie which portrayed all the great works he did. Yeah, St. Francis de Sales is phenomenal. There's actually a Catholic church around where we used to live that is called St. Francis de Sales. And unfortunately, it was pretty woke, but because of the church, I did end up learning a lot more about St. Francis de Sales. So, oh, you are very welcome, Tractor. I'm sorry, I don't actually know your real name, so calling you by your stage name. So, yeah. Okay. Are the three archangels, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, saints too? I keep running into Raphael. Yes, they are saints. Saint Raphael, Saint Michael, and Saint Gabriel. So yes, they are saints. Okay. I put pictures of the saints I like on my wall, kind of like family photos. Valid. I do that too. I do that too. I have like framed photos. Well, I'm not going to turn the entire camera so you guys can see, but I have framed photos everywhere of my favorite saints, including Divine Mercy. Divine Mercy is like one of my favorite images ever. Gloriously Catholic said you can have more than one patron saint. True. Yes, you can. That is why I have multiple. I think a lot of you guys have multiple as well. Our Lady of Mount Singapore. Ooh la la. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna have to Google that. It sounds very familiar, but I don't think I've ever actually, Our Lady of Mount, seen an image of that. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, very cool. Very cool. See, even I learn things new every day, you know? That's the thing. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Don't stop. Does two negatives equal a positive? So I'm telling you guys to stop learning, or don't learn. Okay, all right. You know what? I need some caffeine. It's that time of the day. We need a little caffeine. That is just really cold. It's disgusting. All right. My confirmation saint is the Blessed Carlos Acutis. I'm so excited that he's going to be a saint now. I did it before. It will be cool and hip. Fair Christian. I always tried to emulate his Eucharistic dedication. I love that. Yes, we need more young guys who have this love for the Eucharist. I believe, I'm just typing in what his canonization date is, because I believe it was in April. Does anyone know when he's being canonized? Isn't it in April, right? I'm pretty sure. Or is it July? Was it supposed to be April and then the Vatican changed it? Somebody tell me. Ooh. Also, there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm sorry. April 27th? April 27th, right, guys? Yeah. Okay, great. All right, I'm not crazy. I remembered it was in April. So yeah, that's awesome, Christian. I'm so happy for you. We should all strive to have a relationship with our saints like that. It's just such a phenomenal thing. Did you consider Saint Faustina? Seeing as you like Divine Mercy, I might choose her if I cannot pick King David. I also have a Divine Mercy image in my bedroom. So no, I never actually considered Saint Faustina. And I believe part of that, okay, I actually do not know why. We prayed the Divine Mercy Chaplet, but I had no idea about St. Faustina Kowalska. I didn't know anything about Divine Mercy really that I remembered. So as far as I know, the options that I had were like, the older saints. She was canonized by St. Pope John Paul II, I believe. And so I didn't really know a whole lot about her. It was still fairly new when I was a kid. So yeah, or at least new in the church. So I didn't, but had I known, potentially, I do really like her. I don't have much of a connection to her, but because I do have a huge connection to Divine Mercy, it's like in some ways I do have a big connection to her. Do you know what I mean? Don't really know if that makes sense. But yeah. So very, very cool. Very cool. My confirmation saint, this is the Catholic juggler. My confirmation saint is Saint Vincent. I don't hear Saint Vincent too often these days. I'm going to be honest. It's not a very common one, and I think he's great. Son of Gonzalo. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be butchering these names. The apparition of Mary at the Coptic church in Egypt is so fascinating and a big faith boosted. Sad a lot of Christians don't know much about it. There you go, guys. There's your homework. Go look that up. Go learn more about that. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just so crazy. Pedro says, hello again, greetings from Brazil. Welcome here. There's also a famous appearance of Mary in my city of, I'm so sorry, I'm going to butcher that. Cam- Campinas? I'm so sorry. A devotion called Our Lady of the Tears. Our Lady of the Tears. I'm learning so much today, guys. Our Lady of the Tears. Usually what I do is I type all this stuff into my browser and then later I go through and like, and then I relook everything up. Pedro, is that similar to Our Lady of Sorrows? Is that like a similar thing, or is it separate? Is it separate? Because I think people get those two apparitions confused, or Our Lady of Sorrows and Our Lady of Tears confused. I forget. Saint Anselm, and Saint Macarius have phenomenal works to read. Low-key just gonna copy and paste that name because I'm gonna forget those names. Anselm of Canter. Is he of Canterbury? I assume it is. Oh, you know what? I actually did a whole video about him back in the day. I never posted it. I knew he sounded familiar. That is so cool. I'm gonna have to look into some of his writings. That's awesome, Jennings. Thank you. But yeah. Okay, it's similar but a different apparition, Pedro says. Okay. Awesome. I mean, that's awesome. Okay. Honestly, I don't know who my patron saint is, but I know during my nursing career they have been there and God has made it so they can guide me to save lives. That's so true, Ryler. I think the patron saints are just phenomenal, and when you are in a very busy line of work and a very dangerous line of work like nursing or being a doctor, whether that's in the ER or not or whatever, it's like you need their guidance. You need their help. Saint Luke, I believe, right? Saint Luke is a doctor. Am I thinking of, no, it's Saint Luke. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. I totally know my saints, guys. I swear I do. There's just so many of them. I can't keep track. But yeah, I'd love to know what your guys' patron saints are. You guys can go put them in the chat and maybe we can inspire each other with some patron saints in case people are struggling to find a patron saint of their own. Of course, like I said, mine are Saint Rose of Lima, Saint Ambrose, Saint Francis, Saint Michael, Saint Agnes. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Oh my goodness, there are so many. Okay. Obviously, Luke Robinson said St. Luke the Evangelist was a doctor. Awesome. As a Luke, I would know. Yes. I would hope you would, Luke. Also, you guys should go check out Luke Robinson. He has a great film, Catholic videography kind of. Did I say videography? Videography channel. So on Instagram. So definitely go check him out. He says, I know my Luke love. True. That's fair. Lore. I was about to say, I was like, lore? I'll take whatever. Working on the video this weekend. So yeah, Luke and we did a video. Well, he filmed it in freaking freezing weather. I mean, I was outside, but I got to like keep my hands in my pockets while him and Ruben had to set up. And so we did a little call to action for the pro-life movement video. So stay tuned for that. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's great. Yes, you can have more than one patron saint. You can. I think a lot of people decide that they only want one, which is fine, but a lot of times we need multiple. It's just how you need multiple friends, Okay, somebody said, okay, let's see here. In terms of patron saints, Andrew says Andrew, Peter, John Paul II are his patrons. Honest, valid. And we go over here. There are a lot. Oh my gosh. Saint Rita. I haven't heard of Saint Rita in a long time. Obviously. Let's see. I thought you were talking about confirmation saints. How do I know who my patron saint is? I already talked about that earlier. That's the sucky thing about live streams is if you come in late, you kind of miss a lot of it. But definitely rewatch it so that you know how to pick a patron saint. So, yeah. Tyler said his patron saints are Saint JP2, Saint Paul, and Saint Stephen. Ooh, oh, the Guild of Saint Stephen. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I know we have something called a Saint Stephen's Guild at our church with the altar boys, and that's really cool. Andrew asks, what is a saint? Can anyone be a saint? Yes, anybody can be a saint if they are on the narrow path and they can get to heaven. Anyone who reaches heaven is a saint, not an angel or anything like that. If you get to heaven, you are a saint. They are people who are in friendship with God and they walk with Him their entire lives and do the best that they can, living in a state of grace, receiving the sacraments, and being in friendship with God. Let's see here. Ooh, Emma, you're looking at St. Rita of one of your confirmation saints. That's awesome. Yes, Tyler, St. Rita's awesome. St. Therese of Calcutta, love her. Sorry, Teresa, not Therese. Sorry. Uh, do, 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 do. St. Rita is super cool for sure. Yes, I agree. St. Anthony of Padua realized I was the lost thing. He helped me come back to the church. St. Francis of Assisi, St. Jude, St. Mother Cabrini, St. Therese of Lisieux, and obviously Mary. Yes. Oh my gosh. Those are all my favorites as well. Did you guys ever watch that Cabrini movie that came out last year? I did like some ads for it back in the day. And yeah, it was I still I think I watched the whole thing. It's hard for me to remember what I have and haven't done, but I remember it being just really, really cool. Some people are saying St. John the Baptist, John Henry Newman, St. Rocky if you love dogs, patron saint St. Jude, St. Dymphna, because Luli says, just discovered St. Dymphna. I'm a social worker slash therapist, and I'm excited. And I'm excited to build a relationship with her. That's awesome. It's just so crazy. Alex asked, do you believe someone alive today will become a canonized saint in the future? If so, who? All of my bets are on Gabriel from Gabby After Hours. All of my bets, 100%. I want the canonization process open like that. I don't want any questions asked. He needs to be like canonized, okay? Outside of that, I don't know. He is the only one that I've really seen. Oh, you know what? Maybe Keith. Keith Nestor. He's awesome as well. It's really hard for me to decide. I feel like there are just so many people who I could pick from, but I also don't want to you know, be heretical here. So yeah, I definitely think Gabriel from Gabby After Hours are probably my top. St. John of the Cross, loved his Dark Night of the Soul. Yes, Jennings. Okay, Dark Night of the Soul changed my life. Being able to understand the Dark Night of the Soul and what it's like and going through it and everything like that is just, it's such a game changer when you actually understand the purpose of suffering and why God sometimes puts you in these dry seasons and these desolation seasons. Okay. St. Dismas, if you're trying to steal heaven. Fair enough. Honestly, fair enough. Got to get back to work. Congratulations on getting married. Do you remember the Zoom Bible study you led in 2019? It's so cool to see what you did with your platform. Dominic, yes. Oh my gosh. It's been what, 4 years? Three years? That is so crazy. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate the support. Yeah, it's just so crazy. Definitely married. Definitely having fun. Ministry's going great. But yeah, it's great to hear from you. It's been a hot minute. So yes. Let's see here. Okay. Hey, I just dropped in. When I choose a saint, should it be the same gender as me? Because I love Saint Padre Pio, but I am a girl. No, so it does not have to be. They do not need to be the same gender as you. I was told this by, I think, a priest or something that oh, you should choose a saint that's the same gender as you for whatever reason. I don't remember why, but I loved Saint Francis and I ended up going with St. Rose of Lima. But St. Francis really was the saint that I felt the most connection to and the most called to. So now, obviously, he's my patron saint. But no, you don't have to pick a patron saint that is the same gender as you. You can definitely pick a male saint if you're a female, or you can pick a female saint if you're a male. If you feel a deep connection to them, absolutely go for it. I see nothing wrong with that. Of course, you have to probably run it by your priest or whatever, but yeah, they should be fine with it. They shouldn't have a problem with it, I wouldn't think. But we'll see. So anyways, with all that being said, guys, I do have to hop off. It's been about 45 minutes, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me on here. Don't forget to check out my website at thereligioushippie.com. And yeah, if you guys need anything, email me, thereligioushippie@gmail.com, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day.